The old house, a sentinel of forgotten time, stood cloaked in the melancholic hush that followed a loved one's departure. For Leo, his grandmother's passing had left not just an empty chair at the dinner table, but a profound void in the very air he breathed. She had been the anchor, the storyteller, the quiet keeper of family lore. Now, the mantle of clearing out her attic, a task heavy with the dust of decades and the weight of memories, had fallen to him. It wasn't just a chore, it was a pilgrimage into the past, a reluctant excavation of a life lived fully, yet largely unexamined by the younger generations. Sunlight, thin and pale, struggled through a small, grimy window high above, casting a single ethereal beam that illuminated a ballet of dust motes dancing in the stillness. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood, dried flowers, and something indefinably old, a fragrance that spoke of forgotten dreams and whispered secrets. Leo moved slowly, his footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust on the floorboards, each creak a lament. He sorted through trunks filled with moth-eaten lace, boxes overflowing with sepia-toned photographs of stern-faced ancestors, and stacks of books with brittle pages. Each item was a silent question, a fragment of a story he might never fully piece together. Then, tucked away in a forgotten cedar chest, nestled beneath yellowed linens that smelled faintly of lavender and faded photographs of smiling strangers, he found it. It wasn't grand or imposing, just a small leather-bound diary. Its cover, worn smooth by time and touch, was plain, unadorned, a deep, unassuming burgundy. The pages, when he carefully fanned them, were brittle, almost translucent, whispering of their age. The script inside was elegant, yet firm, a testament to a steady hand and a thoughtful mind. It belonged to his great-grandmother, Elara, a name he knew mostly from hushed family stories. Tales of a gentle nature, a quiet life, a woman who baked the best apple pies and always had a kind word. She was the matriarch, revered for her serene presence, but never for any grand adventures or daring deeds. The diary felt like a contradiction, a silent challenge to the narrative he had always known. Curiosity, a potent and irresistible force, compelled him to open it. His fingers, almost reverently, traced the faded gold lettering on the spine. The first few entries were indeed mundane, chronicling the daily rhythm of a life that seemed perfectly ordinary. Recipes for preserves, observations on the changing seasons, notes about garden chores, and the simple joys of family gatherings. Leo felt a pang of disappointment, a fleeting thought that perhaps this was just another relic of a life too ordinary to hold any great revelations. He was about to close it, to relegate it back to the chest, when the tone shifted, subtly at first, then with an undeniable urgency that seized his attention and refused to let go. Elara began to write of a time of great hardship, a period of widespread scarcity and fear that his family rarely spoke of, a shadow that had fallen across the land long before he was born. Her words painted a vivid, harrowing picture of a world turned upside down, where basic necessities became luxuries, and hope was a flickering candle in a relentless storm. He read of secret meetings held under the cloak of darkness, of whispered plans exchanged in hushed tones, of the constant, gnawing fear of discovery that permeated every waking moment. Leo's heart began to pound, a frantic drumbeat against his ribs, as he absorbed the shocking truth. His great-grandmother, the timid woman of family lore, the gentle soul who embodied domestic tranquility, was not merely observing history. She was actively shaping it. She wasn't just a homemaker. She was a lifeline, a clandestine architect of survival. She had secretly organized a network, a fragile web of courage and compassion, to shelter and feed displaced children orphaned or separated from their families by the ravages of the era. She risked everything, her safety, her reputation, her very life, and the lives of her own family to protect the innocent during a dark, unforgiving time. Her entries detailed the ingenious methods they employed: coded messages hidden in market lists, safe houses disguised as ordinary homes, secret routes through forgotten paths, and the constant, agonizing vigilance required to evade detection. She wrote of the terror of close calls, the heartbreak of failures, and the profound, quiet joy of every child saved. The family had always painted her as a simple, almost fragile figure, perhaps to shield themselves from the painful memories, or to protect her from lingering dangers even decades later. This diary, however, revealed a woman of immense courage, unwavering resolve, and a strategic mind that belied her gentle exterior. Leo felt a profound shift within him, a sense of awe mixed with a dizzying disbelief. The Elara he thought he knew was merely a shadow of the extraordinary woman who had penned these words. The revelation hit Leo like a tidal wave, washing away his preconceived notions and leaving him breathless. He felt an overwhelming surge of pride, a fierce, protective love for this woman he was only now truly discovering. But with that pride came a profound sense of conflict, a moral dilemma that settled heavy in his chest. This was a story that deserved to be told, a testament to incredible bravery, a beacon of hope in a time of despair. It was history, raw and powerful, begging to be shared. Yet, the diary also hinted at the immense personal cost of her actions and the deliberate choice she made to keep her work a secret, even from her own children. She had chosen silence, a cloak of anonymity for her heroism. Would revealing this truth honor her or betray the quiet dignity she had chosen? His family had carefully constructed an image of their past, a peaceful narrative free from the shadows of such dangerous heroism. Exposing Elara's secret now could shatter that image, perhaps even stir up old wounds or expose descendants of those she helped to unwanted attention. He grappled with the weight of her legacy, torn between the desire to celebrate her extraordinary courage and the instinct to respect her silent sacrifice. He paced the attic floor, the diary clutched in his hand, the dust motes still dancing in the fading light, each one a tiny, shimmering question mark. He continued reading, searching for answers, for guidance, for a sign that would tell him what to do. He devoured every word, every carefully chosen phrase, every raw emotion Elara had poured onto those brittle pages. He learned of the sleepless nights, the constant fear of a knock on the door, the agony of making impossible choices, but he also read of the profound satisfaction, the quiet triumph in each small victory, the deep, abiding love she felt for every child she helped. It wasn't just about survival. It was about preserving innocence, about nurturing hope, about believing in a future that seemed impossibly distant. He found himself researching the era, poring over history books and online archives, trying to piece together the larger context of her actions. The more he learned, the more he understood the immense danger she had faced, and the more he admired her unwavering spirit. He began to see the world through her eyes, a world where courage wasn't about grand gestures, but about quiet, persistent action, about choosing compassion even when it meant risking everything. In the final pages, the ink faded, but the words still vibrant with emotion. He found his answers. Elara wrote, not of glory or recognition, not of the desire for monuments or accolades, but of the quiet satisfaction of saving lives, of the profound belief that true good didn't need applause. She explained her secrecy as a shield, not just for herself, but for the children she helped and for the future generations who deserved a life free from the burdens of the past. She spoke of the importance of allowing wounds to heal, of letting the shadows recede, so that new life could flourish unencumbered by the ghosts of yesterday. Her final entry, penned with a steady hand that belied the turmoil of the times, spoke of finding peace in her choices, knowing that her actions, though unseen, had made a difference that resonated far beyond her own lifetime. She wrote of the quiet strength found in anonymity, the freedom in knowing that her impact was measured not by public acclaim, but by the quiet unfolding of countless saved lives. The twist wasn't a scandal, but a profound lesson in humility and purpose, a redefinition of heroism itself. Leo closed the diary, his hands trembling, tears blurring his vision. He understood now. Elara hadn't wanted fame. She had wanted impact. Her heroism wasn't for public consumption, but for the quiet shaping of a better world. One child, one family, one act of kindness at a time. The weight of the decision lifted, replaced by a clarity that resonated deep within his soul. He decided then that he would not expose her story to the world, not in the way he had initially imagined. He wouldn't publish her diary, wouldn't seek out the descendants of those she saved, wouldn't turn her quiet courage into a public spectacle. Instead, he would carry her legacy within him, a silent beacon of strength and compassion that would guide his own life. He would live with the same quiet courage, the same unwavering commitment to making a difference, however small, however unseen. He began to look at his own life, his own choices, through a new lens. The mundane suddenly held potential for quiet heroism. The small acts of kindness, the unseen efforts, the moments of choosing empathy over indifference. These were the threads of Elara's legacy, woven into the fabric of his own existence. He started volunteering at a local youth center, not seeking recognition, but simply offering a steady hand, a listening ear, a quiet presence for children who needed it. He found himself speaking up for those who couldn't speak for themselves, advocating for justice in small, everyday ways. Inspired by the profound courage of his great-grandmother, he would share Elara's incredible truth only with those closest to him, perhaps his own future children, ensuring her spirit of selfless love continued to inspire, not as a public spectacle, but as a cherished, private family treasure. He carefully placed the diary back in the cedar chest, but this time, it wasn't a forgotten relic. It was a sacred trust, a living testament to a heroism that transcended time and recognition. In that moment, Leo didn't just find a secret. He found a deeper understanding of love, sacrifice, and the true meaning of a hero. He found his own purpose, reshaped and redefined by the silent, powerful legacy of Elara. The old house no longer felt like a place of loss, but a sanctuary of enduring strength, a quiet testament to the profound impact one life, lived with courage and compassion, could have on the world, one hidden act of kindness at a time. He walked out of the attic, not as the same young man who had entered, but as a guardian of a silent, powerful truth, ready to weave Elara's wisdom into the tapestry of his own unfolding life.